Morning. I'm going to teach on just the two greatest commands that Jesus teaches, and he says if you do these, you're keeping all the laws and the prophets. To love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And the second is love your neighbor as yourself. Simplicity, let's just keep it at that. And I was thinking today about how what we tend to do, we need our soul to be satisfied in Him, right? But what we do apart from God is we put an expectation first. The first thing that we try and do within ourselves is we think a better version of us will satisfy that soul longing. If we can just better ourselves, then we'll be satisfied. So we go to the gym, we do everything we possibly can, but in the end, that soul is not satisfied. So then we go on to the next thing and try and satisfy our soul in that. And then we go thinking that if we put that weight on another person, thinking, if I'm with that person, somehow my life is going to be complete. And it never is. That's putting an unfair weight. What I've seen in counseling men and helping men is they put an unfair expectation on that other person, thinking that person somehow is going to complete them, and it's just not the case. And then we run to the world, thinking that the things of the world, all the material things, will satisfy that longing within, and they temporarily do, but in the end they don't. And then we can even run to religion, thinking that, I'm going to run to religion, but that's kind of a betterment of self with a choir robe on. The reality of it is, only in Him will our soul be satisfied. And then out of that, as we love God with all of our heart, with all of our soul, and with all of our mind, and then we're set free to truly be able to love our neighbor and love our spouse and love our children from a healthy perspective, instead of putting that unfair weight on them to satisfy something that they can't. Only in Him can we get that. We are meant to be in union with Him, in relationship with Him. And it's not just about asking Him into our life to take us to heaven someday. It's so much more than that. It's communion with God. It's satisfaction in Him, and then out of that, it flows into every other relationship that we have, because we've come to the end of ourselves. And we're experiencing fullness and wholeness in God. Saved means so much more than going to heaven someday. It means that you are made complete, made whole in Him. And there's beauty in that. And that's what my prayer today is, that you have your soul satisfied in Him, and then your relationships will become healthy, instead of putting an unfair weight on all the other things that we do. Our tendency is to, try and betterment of self, hoping, like Jerry Maguire, that you complete me. Better be complete going in, and then being able to give and love unconditionally rather than that need. Anyway, God bless y'all.